Is your SD card not working? Oh. 2 years ago, I released a video titled, "Why is my camera not reading my SD card? 6 easy fixes for SD card errors." I have spent hours scrolling through the comments on that video, looking for other ways people have suggested for fixing their SD card errors. And I've put them all into this video. I'm also going to give you a way to rescue your precious data if you can't clear your SD card error using one of these 11 fixes for SD card errors. Don't you go away. If you have never seen one of my videos before, I'm Barry from Photographer's Freedom, where I take you from beginner to better to business with your photography. If that intrigues you, check out photographersfreedom.com. Right now, let's get into these 11 fixes for SD card errors. Now, I am going to be mixing footage from the old video with new footage I have filmed, so things are going to look a little bit different from scene to scene, but you'll be okay. Fix number 1, SD lock switch. On the side of any SD card is a little lock switch. If you slide it into the down position, that locks the card. This is designed to protect your data so you can't overwrite it. If your card is not working, it could be that this switch is in the locked position. This should be your first go-to solution if your card is not working. If the switch is locked, unlock it and try the card again. If it's not locked, move on to fix number 2. Fix number 2, turn the camera off, then back on again. I know this sounds like a joke, right? Oh yeah, turn it off and turn it back on again. This can clear some errors, so it's worth a try. Make sure the camera is not accessing the SD card. There should be a light on the back of the camera somewhere that tells you when it's busy. Turn it off, wait around 10 seconds and then turn it back on again. If this doesn't clear your error, move on to fix number 3. Fix number 3. This is an extension of fix number 2. Only here we are going to turn the camera off, take the battery out, take the SD card out, reinsert the battery and SD card and turn the camera back on again. If this doesn't work for you, move on to fix number 4. Fix number 4, format the card in your camera. Every camera will have a format card option, so follow the prompts to format your card in the camera. If you want to know how to do that on a Nikon D5200 or other similar Nikon DSLR camera, watch the video linked in the card above. Make sure you back up any data on the card before formatting to your PC, Mac or laptop, as formatting erases all data on the card. Still no joy? Move on to fix number 5. Fix number 5, format the card in your computer. It's always better to format your SD cards in your camera, but if that fails to solve the issue, then formatting on your PC or Mac is the next best thing. Take your SD card out of the camera and put it into your computer. If your computer doesn't have an SD slot, you can pick up an SD card reader like this one fairly cheaply on Amazon. There are links in the video description to a few you can look into if you like. I'm just going to show you how to do this on a PC. If you want to know how to do this on a Mac, there's a link in the description to a video that will show you how. Open File Explorer and find your SD card in the list. If you already have data on the card, you can view it. You want to make a backup of your data first. Copy your files to wherever you want them. I'm just going to make a folder on the desktop. Just call it photos for now, and we'll paste them in there. And now you're ready to format. Right click on the card in the list and select Format. Now the correct file system should be displayed here under File System. You can see that this says exFAT. If I open this drop down, you can see that I can select NTFS or exFAT. You want to stay away from NTFS. That is a Windows file system. It will work on your PC but not on your camera. Now depending on the size of your card, you might also see FAT16 here. FAT16 is a good format for SD cards or micro SD cards of 2 GB or lower. FAT32 is for SDHC or micro SDHC cards from 4 gigabytes to 32 gigabytes. exFAT is best for SDXC or micro SDXC cards of 64 gigabytes or larger. So as this card is a 64 gigabyte card, I'm going to choose exFAT there, leaving it at the default. The allocation unit size, you can leave it what is displayed there. Make sure that the quick format box down here is checked and click start. Says it gives you a warning that it's going to erase all the data on the disk. Click OK and it will say format complete. Click OK there as well. Once that is done, you can close that, eject the card and put it back into your camera. If the error is still happening, I suggest following the same steps again, except unchecking the quick format box. This will take longer, but it will do a more thorough format which may clear the error. If this doesn't work, move on to fix number 6. Fix number 6, check the SD card for errors on a computer or laptop. Insert your troublesome SD card into your PC. Again, if you want to know how to do this on a Mac, there's a link in the description that will show you how. Open File Explorer, right-click on your SD card in the list and choose Properties. In the Properties window, click on the Tools tab. At the top here, you will see Error Checking. Click the button that says check and Windows will check your card for errors. Follow any prompts that come up to scan and fix any errors on your card. If you didn't find any errors, move on to fix number 7. Fix number 7, wipe the SD card terminals with a lint-free cloth. You may be tempted to use some kind of cleaning solution here, but please don't, as this may damage the SD card. If this doesn't solve your problem, move on to fix number 8. Fix number 8, blow out the SD card slot with a lens blower. Dust and debris can get inside the SD card slot of your camera, especially if you're taking the SD card in and out a lot. This can lead to SD card errors. The way to deal with it is to blow out the SD card slot using one of these. This is a lens blower. If you don't already have one of these, you really should. They are very handy for blowing dust and debris off your lenses or from the inside of your camera off your sensor or your mirror. They are even handy for cleaning hair off your hair clippers. This one is a Hurricane lens blower from LensPen. Fantastic little blower. There are links to this in the video description. Make sure the camera is switched off. Open your SD card slot and take out the card. Invert the camera so that the slot faces down toward the floor. This will ensure that whatever you blow out doesn't just float up into the air and back down into the slot. Put the end of the blower close to the opening of the slot and gently blow a couple of times. Reinsert your SD card and turn the camera back on. If this doesn't fix your error, move on to fix number 9. Fix number 9, check compatible card sizes in your camera manual. Unlike you and I, all cameras are not created equal. Some cameras only accept certain sizes of SD card. Now, I'm not talking about physical size here, but capacity. It may surprise you to learn that every camera has what is called a manual. This is a little booklet that explains all the features and specifications of your camera and how to use it. Most of the time when you buy a camera, you will get a paper version of the manual. However, if you don't, you can always Google your camera model and find a PDF version. Somewhere in the manual, there will be a table listing compatible SD cards for your camera. Find this list and read through it to make sure that you are not trying to use an SD card that is just not compatible with your camera. If you are using a compatible SD card, move on to fix number 10. Fix number 10, try the card in another device. This will make sure that your camera is not the issue. If you have another camera, try the card in that. You can also try a laptop, a phone if it's a micro SD card, or a friend's camera, any other device. If you don't get errors in the second device, then it is most likely your camera that is causing the error. I also suggest trying a different SD card at this stage if you have one. If you still get errors with the second SD card, then it is again most likely your camera that is the issue. Of course, if you do get an error in the second device, then it is probably the SD card that has the issue. If it doesn't have data on it that you want, simply format it inside your camera or a computer to see if that clears the error. If that still doesn't fix your problem, you have no choice but to move on to fix number 11. Fix number 11, throw the card out and buy a new one. I'm sorry, but if you've tried all the fixes in the video so far and you're still getting an SD card error, then you have no choice but to toss the card and buy a new one. There are links in the video description to SD cards that I use and recommend. I have never had any trouble with the brand of SD card I recommend. Maybe I'm lucky, or maybe they're just good quality SD cards and you should probably buy one. Hold on, I hear you screaming at the screen, throw it out, but it's got all those photos of Aunt Jenny's adorable new baby on it. Take a deep breath, it's going to be okay. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I was going to give you a way to rescue your precious data if you haven't been able to clear all your errors with the fixes so far. Viewer All Things Considered 333 commented on my previous video that they had used software called Disc Drill to recover photos from their Utah Canyons hiking trip, over 10,000 images that they would have been heartbroken to have lost. I have used Disc Drill myself in the past to rescue data from a USB thumb drive that stopped working, so I know that this software works. There is a link in the video description to Disc Drill so you can try it out for yourself. Let me know in the comments if you use it and it helps you to recover your precious data. I sincerely hope that among the 11 fixes for SD card errors in this video, you have found one that solved your problem. Before you go, check out the links in the video description to the SD cards I recommend, the Hurricane Lens Blower, and the Disc Drill data recovery software. Until next time, I'm Barry from Photographer's Freedom. Get out there, take some wicked shots. I'll see you soon.